Good afternoon, I'm Jeff. I'm a Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 3614 Northeast 162nd Avenue here in Portland. We're located at the front of the home. We're at the front right corner of the house here. We have a 3-inch ABS clean out as our point of access. I'm going to insert the camera and check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Currently have a bunch of water running here. We'll let it all drain out at the end. We've got looks like a long run out to the street here. So we're going to keep the camera moving pretty quick here at the beginning. Yeah, we're going through it's like a fair amount of standing water here. We do have a garden hose running full bore, so we'll have a more accurate look at that on the way out. It's also a fairly common issue with flag lot lines. Once a line goes over about 100 feet, about 90% of them, whether or not they're brand spanking new or 100 years old, they usually will always have some kind of significant belly in them. Transition there over to 4-inch 3034 PVC pipe. Alright, just located the camera head. We are right at the street edge. And going off the manhole cover that's running up, it's right down the middle of the road. We're about 10 feet shy of the main lateral here. But the line's still doing some draining. This is going to take a few minutes, probably. The line just kind of went in and out of belly. So I was explaining on the way out, about 90%, if not more, of lines that once they go over 100 feet, unless they're shooting down a hillside, just about all of them will have bellies in them. Doesn't make it a good thing, as they're not ideal, especially when you got to push debris 4 or 5 times further than the average sewer line. And that's where the issue lies, is your toilets inside there are not specially designed to push debris 200 plus feet out. They're just like every other toilet. And so when you put bellies in and amongst that, you know, if your line had a belly in it but it was only 50 feet long, it's a much easier job than trying to push debris through 5 or 6 different bellies out to 200 feet. So the likelihood you get debris buildup in a flag lot line to begin with, even if it had no bellies, goes up significantly, because that anything you put down the toilet takes a bunch of flushes to even make it out to the main. So you add bellies in and amongst that, and it makes it very difficult for things to get down line. Doesn't mean it won't function, but the likelihood you're going to get a blockage or a backup goes up significantly. Now in general, once you get about 5 feet with an inch of standing water, that's right at the kind of the breaking point where you start to see debris building up in the line, especially just regular old toilet paper. Anything less than that usually is just stuff that really shouldn't go down the line, like grease and cloth rags and stuff like that. And sometimes these flag lots, because it's so difficult to get these to stay in grade, I'm of the opinion you're almost better off to put an ejector system in and let the pump deal with it, which has its downsides. They do burn out about every 10-15 years, but you don't have to worry about the line clogging up as they force everything right through. Yeah, for instance, this belly right here, is only about 4 feet long, but the water level is sitting right about a half of an inch. You can see that there's really no debris collecting there at all. Now, a lot of times these bellies have almost more to do with how the homeowner's living. When you get enough water, though, there's just not a whole lot that can be done. It's going to get hung up in the line. But if you're being careful as to what goes down the pipe, only putting folded toilet paper down the toilet, and avoiding as much food down the disposal as possible, mostly your fatty, greasy stuff, cooking oil, things like that are the biggest problem. Generally, you're going to be okay. But you're still going to get, toilet paper and stuff hanging up in those bellies, and that's where, you can kind of have a perfect storm of events. A whole bunch of people go to the bathroom back to back, and, something can get clogged up. So. And on the way out, when the water wasn't stirred, you can get a really clear picture of how the debris is collecting in the line. We have a much worse picture now that we've stirred it all up. Alright, we got this one mapped out here from 127 feet to 150 feet. We've got about an inch to an inch and a half of water. I've got another belly here in the line, ends at 107 feet. Yeah, you can see how much junk has fallen into the line there. And this makes it really difficult to gauge at this point once you start getting stuff falling into the pipe like that. My camera looks like it's just boring through a tunnel of that junk. This line needs to be hydrojetted in a big way to get all that out of there. Now at this point I can't even assess how big that spot is. It looks like it's from 81 feet to 107 feet, but until that debris is out of the flow line, there's no way of telling how bad it really is. But that's a spot there. It shows you how much stuff can collect. This little one right here so far is rink-a-dink. Nothing to worry about. That only had about a 1/16 of an inch of water. But that belly there from 81 feet to 107 feet, that was sitting at more about 1.5 inches to 2 inches of water. You put a couple of those back to back there, and the line has a pretty hard time draining out. Now this time I'm not going to put any markings down, at least for this. Well, here's what I will do. I'll put an X at either end just to show where it's at. The dimensions of it might be off by a bit because we have so much stuff in the flow line that can kind of artificially make it look larger than it really is. Alright, we're going to go ahead and reel back out. Keep our eye out for any more standing water in the line there, but that one is probably the most significant of the two bellies so far. It's causing a lot of stuff to build up in the line. You can do a repair on it. You can also hydrojet the line and re-scope it every 1-2 years to keep an eye on things. Can give you an idea whether or not you're going to need to jet it out very often at all. Every household lives so differently that it's difficult to gauge. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and reel the camera on out of the line here. Once again, we have a belly with about right around 2 inches of water in it, from 81 feet to 107 feet, and another belly from 127 to 150 feet that's got about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of water. I would recommend spot repairs to correct both of those, as they are causing a significant amount of debris to collect. Again, you can also be careful, and I would highly recommend jetting the line out. No doubt about it, it needs that no matter what. But then if you don't do a repair, re-scope it in a year, and that will give you a baseline for whether or not you need to, how concerned you really need to be about jet cleaning this thing on some kind of basis. But both of those spots there, that closest in belly is about 8 to 9 feet deep. The one that's further out is about 9 to 10 feet. They're down there a ways, and they are under asphalt. Aside from those spots, the rest of the line is in good condition. I didn't see any breaks in the line anywhere, but anyway, the pipe, aside from those bellies, is in good shape and has good flow and is functioning properly. The line, however, because of those bellies, is struggling to drain. So I would recommend repairs on it first and foremost, and if not that, then definitely get it jetted and re-scoped every so often to keep an eye on it.